Well, hello, everyone. This is Dr. Isabelle Amig, your friendly rheumatologist from Unabridged MD. Today, I am so excited to bring to you someone that is expert in Ayurvedic medicine, and we are going to jump right in. Before I do this, just an announcement that the first day of fall, we are going to have something called Stay Retreat. So we are not retreating, we're just staying in Denver, Colorado. And we are going to work with someone that does Tai Chi. And we're going to do some Tai Chi, some meditation, as well as some exercise. This is open to everyone, but we have limited space. So if you are interested, please let us know at info@unabridgedmd.com. And it is half a day to set up intention and set up our own healing for the fall to come. So hopefully you'll come and more information as time goes on. All right. And I keep calling you Dr. Om, and I'm really sorry if it's not Dr. Om, but it is so much easier. So Om, thank you so much for coming on the show. And you have such an intriguing story, so fascinating, that I remember when I met you, I was like, please come on the show. I think my auditors will be so happy to have you and to learn. Can you tell us your story?
Yes. So first of all, namaste. And this is my way of greeting in Ayurveda and in Indian culture in general. You must have seen it. And it was very handy in the COVID time, we don't have to shake hands. So I'll say namaste. So it's a greeting. So my name is Om Prakash Sanduja, and I come from a lineage family of Ayurveda. And as you know, Ayurveda is a science of life, which was originated many thousands years ago in India, but it's spreading worldwide around because it is a holistic medicine. It's a science of life, as I mentioned to you. Let me tell you something about myself, how I came to this field, and what is the purpose of my life. So my purpose of life is to make a paradigm shift in anybody's health. I want everybody to be healthy and smiling and living a contented life. That's what my purpose of life, which I understood when I retired from my 3 decades of pharmaceutical industry business. And I realized that there are gaps. There are gaps in the modern medicine. So I'm here to fill those gaps. So with the way of lifestyle, how do we eat? How do we talk? Mindfulness, yoga, as you mentioned before, meditation, all these science combined into one together. So it is an integrative way of completing and maintaining your health at an optimal level. So when I was in India, when I was in school in college, I used to practice with my dad. And then we came to US in 1994. Of course, I became busy to raise my family, work and make money, of course. And in 2018, I had some life-threatening event. And at that time, I decided this is the time for me to find something to give back to society. And I went to school for 4 years and I learned Ayurveda, although I knew it, but I learned Ayurveda in a formal way in a school. And I started practicing. So I'm practicing since last 5 years in US. And I am proud to say that I have encountered about 500 to 600 patients so far. Sorry to say the patient because we are not allowed to say the patient. Patient is a modern terminology. We can call them client also. We call them rogi, R-O-G-I. That's a Ayurvedic terminology when somebody approaches you for some health issues or ailments. We call them rogi. So I have been counseling. I have been teaching people how to manage their health through different modalities, which comes under Ayurveda and Veda in general. So if I start talking about Ayurveda, it takes me at least 1 month to explain what Ayurveda is. But I'll explain in few lines so that you could understand what it is. So the main purpose of Ayurveda is to maintain the health of a healthy person. And the second purpose is to take the root cause of the disease. And that is only possible when you understand the root cause. So I help individuals to understand what the root cause of your health imbalances are. And we correct that imbalances. We try to create a balance in your body, mind, and soul. When they are aligned together, you feel happy from inside outside. And that is what my purpose of life is. Now, if you go further to the Ayurveda, I'll explain there are three pillars of Ayurveda. One is the intake. What are the intakes? Intake of food, intake of water, and intake of air, and the perceptions. What we hear, what we taste, what we see, those are perceptions that also comes under intake. The second pillar is sleep. Sleep is not a waste of time. And as you all know, when you don't sleep one night, how do you feel next day? So sleep is meant for rejuvenation and replenishing your energy which you spend whole day. And the third pillar is brahmacharya. If I translate into Sanskrit or Ayurvedic language, it will come out to be celibacy. But actually it is meaning that living with good conduct, living with discipline. So discipline is a big thing in Ayurveda. Because I teach people to manage by merging in the nature. We all come out of the nature, and we tend not to be with the nature. So we need to connect with the nature so we stay natural and we stay balanced by the way of correcting your breath, by the way of correcting your life and diet, and what you do whole day. Whether you walk, whether you exercise, whether you do pranayama, or whether you do yoga. So these are all modalities which are combined into my practice and consultation. And the first consultation is about 60 to 90 minutes, where I put a lot of questions to understand the person sitting in front of me. Once I understand what is the root cause of the condition or imbalances, then I talk about the management and different modalities, which might include herbal supplements, which might include yoga and breathing exercises, sleeping in time, eating in time, how much you eat, what you eat, and what time you eat. And so these three pillars are made in balance by these modalities. So this is all about Ayurveda. I practice Ayurveda in Denver, and my office is 3401. Yes.
I want to ask you more questions, but go ahead. Your office is free.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
3401 Quebec Street, Denver. And it is the office is on the 4th floor.
Okay. We'll have more time for you to tell us where to find you, if you have a website and a phone number and or email. But there is so much that you have given us already, and there are a couple of follow-up questions I want to ask you. So the first one, because I think I have met you already, and so I already know a little bit the story, but one of the things that really intrigued me is the fact that you come from the pharmaceutical world. So you were an MSL, so medical science liaison, and for a pretty big company, and that is, it's a role, like it's a role that's for people who are not in the medicine field. It's a role that's, pretty much it's when doctors have to ask questions about a drug. We usually go to the MSL. medical science liaison, and MSL don't have anything to do with selling a drug. They are really there to teach us about a drug. So if we have a question about like a side effect, or if we want more information about efficacy, that's who we are talking to. And so it's a pretty big role. And so that is what you were doing. So that's very scientific, very evidence-based medicine. But then you said, I had this threat of health, and I wanted to give back to the world. So explain to us how doing Ayurveda, why is it that Ayurveda was where you felt I can give more to the world doing Ayurveda than if I continue to do MSL?
Yes. So while being an MSL, I learned the science, and I learned how to give a rationale. For example, if you prescribe a medicine to a patient, if you tell them a rationale, this is what it will do, and how to take it, how many times you take it, then the patient will be compliant. So while working in pharmaceutical, I launched a lot of respiratory products, including Montelukast, way back in 1998. And one thing I realized working in pharmaceutical, that it has their own place. Definitely, it has its own place because it cures disease, it uproots the disease. For example, the cancer and other respiratory diseases, or even metabolic disorder. But there are still gaps. Gaps means we do not focus on the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
What time to wake up? How should you feel when you wake up? Should you eat in the breakfast? What should you eat in the lunch? Right? So I will have the patient will be recommended for a typical diet. For example, paleo diet or olive oil diet. But I have seen with hundreds of thousands of dietary theories, nothing has worked because we cannot comply. So if you counsel the patient, so Ayurveda tells you the way, okay, what to eat and what not to eat based on your body constitution. If you have a SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, so what it caused, what is caused by, what is the basic root of it? Means you have taken so many antibiotics, you have taken so many medicines that your beneficial bacteria has worn out. Your microbiome has reduced. So we need to replenish the microbiome by natural food items. And all the food which comes from Mother Earth is the answer. Food is the answer. If food is right, we don't need the medicine. If medicine is there and we don't eat good food, then medicine is of no value. That's what I realized while working in pharmaceutical. So we need to fill that gap with something which a person can understand and follow. Let me give you an example. You have patients come to me with chronic constipation. And when I ask them, what do you eat whole day? So if you're eating like a cheese stick or tuna fish with white bread, the constipation is bound to happen. But if you replenish with the good leafy green vegetables, if you drink warm water throughout the day, your constipation can be alleviated. That's one example I'm giving you.
Mm-hmm.
Second example is metabolic disorders. I always laugh about it that we purchase metabolic disorders because of the lifestyle not keeping balanced. If we were careful in walking or doing enough exercise, diabetes could have been postponed. Now, our ecology in the Western country is disturbed. We get food from all different part of the world in different season. Whereas if we go to any small countries and the food is produced by nature for that particular season. So our ecology is messed up. So Ayurveda corrects that imbalance and suggests the proper diet and what quantity. And there's a concept called incompatible food. So incompatible food combination can be the cause of a lot of intestinal diseases, including IBD. So example is you're drinking milk after pepperoni pizza. That is an incompatible food combination. So these naturalities given by Ayurveda creates a balance in one's life, and happiness comes from within.
That's so beautiful. And I have to tell you that most of the patients that I have contact with, and I think that it's probably because it's Colorado, they understand the importance of food, and I think they are the first one who mention diet as something that changes their arthritis or their inflammatory disorders. And it's really interesting to me because the science behind the diet is only finally coming, and actually proving what patients have already, I've always said, that it was, if I drink milk, I have some inflammation. And I remember when I was a medical student, I was like, yeah, well, but do you? I didn't trust them. I trusted the science more, and there was no study showing this. And now there are some studies showing that the anti-inflammatory diet, the Mediterranean diet are better. So this is actually I wonder, do you see a lot of patients where what you're experiencing, what they are experiencing is related to a disruption of their cycle? So meaning, I think that food, everyone is pretty clear about this. Sleep, it's pretty clear. But then you mentioned something about cycle, about the fact that you had to have discipline in your life.
Yes.
And I assume that I assume cycle, but I guess it's discipline. I'm thinking of social medias that are so addictive, where you look around you and everyone is on a phone, and what are you experiencing? And especially since you were in India before 1990, I think you said, and now, and I just wonder, what are you experiencing? What in your practice, your Ayurvedic practice, what are you seeing?
So there's a word we call EMF, and the electronic magnetic field effect on your sleep, effect on your mind, effect on your thought process is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the children these days. They have phone, they have TV. During vacation time, they watch TV 12 hours a day. They don't eat, they don't move. That is not natural.
Mm-hmm.
So natural means, sun rises at its own time. If you wake up 90 minutes before the sunrise, you're walking with the circadian cycle. And we have circadian cycles within us. And if we tune our circadian cycle or inner cycle of nature and in tune with nature outside, then you feel natural. Otherwise, we feel artificial. We don't eat well. We don't sleep well. Your body is not repaired well. We feel fatigued. And that's where the metabolic disorder comes into action.
Mm-hmm.
So what Ayurveda teaches is just make you tuned with the nature, how to breathe properly. When you are tired, when you are angry, you do the thorax breathing. Whereas we should be breathing through the abdomen. So the oxygen carbon dioxide exchange only happens in the lungs when you breathe properly. So when there is no oxygen carbon dioxide exchange, there is no breathing, there's no fresh prana or breath flowing through your mind or your body. So when the fresh air flows through your body, it becomes natural, it becomes energized automatically. So that's one part of seeing that living in discipline, living in tune with the nature. So what do you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you start watching TV or read newspaper or look at WhatsApp and spoil your mood because the news may not be good for you that day? Or you want to go walk and touch the nature and feel the nature. Especially in Denver, I can see mountains from my home. When I walk in the morning, I feel in a different world. Snow-clad mountains and so fresh air. And in alternatively, we like to live inside. When we live inside, we have fungus, we have all the pollution, but nature has its own clearing system. So when you wake up in the morning, what do? You drink warm water? Do you breathe properly? Or do you eat some good breakfast, or you miss it? Or you stand in the line in McDonald's and whatever they give you in the bag, you start eating and drive the car. That's not a natural lifestyle. Nature lifestyle is sitting mindfully, eating thoroughly, enjoying the food, smelling the food, and feel satisfied with your food. Have friendship with your food, especially when you prepared home-cooked food, which is warm, organic, and fresh. There is a prana, there is a life force in that food. Rather, we stick to stale food. We make food for an hour, for a week, and then take it out, reheat it, take it out, reheat it. Nutrition may be available, but there's no life force in that food. You will not feel nourished. So Ayurveda connects you with the nature by eating good things which come from Mother Nature. There was an article by Tough School of Nutrition, and it says we should eat the whole grains, organic whole grains, because it has a storehouse of microbiome. When you cook a grain, maybe wheat or oat, which is full grain, when you cook it, it has a different taste and it has a different nutrition. And then article said, so we are discovering these things now, where Ayurveda has been recommending these things for a long time, for many thousands of years. The other modality is clearing your lymph in the body by massage. So Ayurveda has some medicated oils which you can apply in your nose, in your body, to just clean your lymph and clean the skin. Skin is the largest organ of your body, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And if we keep nourishing it, the elasticity is maintained by those medicated oil. And you're a rheumatologist, and I'm sure you must be telling your patients, walk. Walking is so important. If you have arthritis, even then you need to move. And Ayurveda says the same thing. Go to nature, move, walk, enjoy the fresh air. And that's called discipline.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think there is definitely something, I think that there's a reason why Ayurvedic medicine is becoming more and more popular. And as I'm listening to you, I'm like, yeah, all of those things are wonderful. And there's a lot, movement is proven, diet is proven, meditation is proven, so breathing is proven, and so on. I don't know about the oil and things, but I'm sure, it doesn't hurt. And what I think is really important for listeners is to realize that Ayurvedic medicine is very old. And so it's, there's the trial of trials, randomized controlled trial, but there's also the trial of time. And I do think that the evidence-based medicine that we have nowadays does not necessarily look at this, the trial of, what has worked for so many years. That there's there is definitely wisdom in here. We're almost at the end of this episode, and so the podcast is called On Average MD, Hope Driven by Science. It's really something about hope, and I usually take a time to ask my guest, can you tell us a history of one of your patient or client, or what was the name?
Rogi.
Rogi,
you rightly said.
One of your Rogi, where there like something happened, where you're like, wow, I'm really happy I'm doing this work.
Yes. So I have many Rogis who have hypercholesteremia and high blood pressure. And high blood pressure, of course, they need, the sleep is one reason that it is caused the hypertension. The other reason is not breathing properly. So there are some breathing techniques which can improve your high blood pressure. It is also linked with your mind. Mind care is the self-care. And I teach a lot of mind care through Ayurveda. Means what should be your thought process, what your expectations, desires are, and that is also inbuilt into. So hypercholesteremia, obesity, weight gain, and high blood pressure. These, I have many patients who have shown by lab reports that blood pressure has gone down by 30 or 40 points. And hypercholesteremia has gone down. For example, main defect in the hypercholesteremia is triglyceride. I know in the modern science, we say that if you reduce the intake of carbohydrate, triglyceride will be reduced. But there are some herbal supplement which also helps to clean your liver, clean your spleen, so that the cholesterol manufacturing is regularized. So I have many patients with the joint pains, with the massage, with the walk, and the herbal supplement has been alleviated, and hypercholesteremia has been treated, and same is high blood pressure. Diabetes is a chronic disease. As you know, it takes a little longer time.
Okay. So basically what you're saying is that thanks to Ayurvedic medicine, patients can have hope that they don't necessarily need medication. Yes. So that is actually very, very interesting. Thank you so much. So where can people find you?
So maybe I can, my website is Vedic Health, VEDIC health.org. And anybody who's interested, they can go on this website, look at some of the articles, yoga poses, and make an appointment with me. So I'm in Denver. Making an appointment at least 2 weeks in advance will help me to arrange a space. And so first consultation is 60 to 90 minutes. And then we do follow-up every month. I have Rogis, at least maybe 100 to 150 Rogis who are coming to follow up with me for almost 1 year now. So it shows there is an improvement in health conditions. Mm-hmm. And there is a improvement in digestive health, as simple as like bloating, gas, and pain, abdominal pain.
Wonderful.
I just gave a talk on the menopause journey to a holistic mom of America.
Excellent. So this probably means that we have to have you back on the show very soon. So yes. our time is done. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Everyone, there will be the notes at the end of the podcast and the video on YouTube, so you can look for for Om, and then we'll have the post as well. And thank you so much. And then we will see all of you next week. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good day and keep smiling and happy.